All right, everybody, it's Farrell with Crowd Surfing. We are here at the 150th anniversary of the driving of the Golden Spike. We go all over the place, from Vegas to Promontory. They had the reenactment here today. Let's take a look at some of the highlights.
3 cheers for the Union Pacific Railroad! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray!
And now 3 cheers for the Central Pacific Railroad. Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! You're not all hip hipping.
Promontory to the country, to President Ulysses S. Grant, Washington, D.C. Mr. President, final bulletin. The last rail is laid, the last spike is driven. The Pacific Railroad is completed to a junction 1,086 miles west of the Missouri River, 690 miles east of Sacramento City, California.
At that moment, one era ended and another began. The Golden Spike became a symbol of hope for a better way of life with new challenges yet to be accomplished. We thank you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for being here today. Thank you.
We are here at Eli's Wagonland Adventure. We have done so many things for the 150th anniversary of the Golden Spike. We've been to horse parades, we've been out to Promontory, we went on some tours with Eli and saw some of the trails that the pioneers had taken before there were the freight trains. So check it out. I ran into the man of the hour, Mr. Eli Anderson. Eli, you got a big party going on here.
Yeah, the National Stagecoach and Freight Wagons having their annual conference here, and this is our social. And we're just going to all have a good time, look at some wagons, and enjoy one another's company. A little entertainment tonight.
I'm getting old.
Don't talk to me about old.
I'm a year away from 50. It's downhill after that.
That's the golden years.
Yeah, well.
Oh, Medicare. Let me tell you about that. Okay.
Well, I know I'm old because I keep getting mail from AARP.
And you'll continue to join. Okay. It doesn't stop. Well, it's an endless chain if we want you.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what it is. I just get it all the time. There's old people on the envelope.
Yes, it is, and they give you very nominal discounts at very many places, okay?
Alrighty, can I get your name?
Jeff McManus.
And what is it that you're doing down here?
We are an association of the National Stagecoach and Freight Wagon Association, and we have a yearly gathering somewhere where somebody will offer to show trails, show wagons, that sort of thing, and Eli stepped up to the plate and said that he would be more than happy to be the host of this convention, and that's kind of what we are here doing, and going looking over your old wagon trails and stage routes and the whole works.
How did you get involved with wagons? I mean, everywhere I look, if there's not a wagon, there's parts for one.
Well, this has been a lifetime dream to put together a historical museum of horse-drawn vehicles. And I started many, many years ago. I was in 2nd grade when I got the bug.
Oh, wow.
We went on a field trip, and my mother was a room mother, went along with the class. And all these things at Pioneer Village was things my mother had grown up with.
And then when you get to 62, 3, 4, then they start to hit you up on Part B and C and D on Medicare.
Yes.
Because they have the best program. Yeah, well, that's self-described. Okay? Yeah. Let me tell you, just getting up in the morning and seeing the daylight, then kind of doing an inventory, like, okay,
Everything's still there.
it's working. Now, it's a gallop to the restroom. Okay.
Yeah.
Get out of my way, honey.
Yeah. I've noticed that myself already.
Oh, it's going to get worse.
I just assumed it was always here every year. So you guys do it in different parts of the country.
Yep, it's all over the United States. In fact, it'll be in Fort Davis, Texas next year. And it just came from Arizona last year. We've done Virginia City, Montana twice, and West Yellowstone, Montana once, Cody, Wyoming once.
So you just get people local that know what's up with these trails and stuff and come and take people on tours and educate them about it.
Yeah, they offer to do the show and tell, and we provide as much help as we can. And
So like here was the cream separator, and she told me about having to turn it and all the discs that had to be cleaned. The pump organ, it's just like we had in our parlor, parlor stove. Gosh, there's the buggy, just like the one our neighbors had. So I came home trying to find all these items. And we go to the neighbors, and they'd got rid of the buggy, but they were still, they had an old beat wagon there, and I tried to get the old beat wagon. And the gentleman thought he might have to use it, and he wouldn't part with it. And so, anyway, that's how I got started. I was probably in junior high when I got my first one.
And the point is, you can't stop. Once you tell your bladder, like, okay, you're going, it says, I'm going too. Sometimes well, never mind, I won't go into that.
Yeah, then it's gone.
It can be dangerous.
Yeah.
And then there's the cleanup.
Yeah, well, that's what I have a wife for.
Oh my. Oh my.
Just,
You just laid out a whole field of landmines on that one,
I know.
Carl.
I'm a lot of things. Smart isn't one of them. You know what I mean?
I'll agree with you.
Eli Anderson is really needs his hats off to him, because what a nice job he's done here.
Super knowledgeable about that stuff as well.
He is very knowledgeable. Yes. Yeah, very good collector. Look at all that
Yeah,
stuff.
he's got some great stuff here. Holy, I don't even know anything about these wagons other than they're cool.
Yeah.
They're really cool.
And come back and ask him. 'Cause
Yeah, for sure.
he loves the show.
Alrighty, thank you so much for talking to me, Jeff. I appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
And we went to load it. I didn't have a driver's license. My dad took me to load it. We put it in the pickup, and the wheels collapsed and needed a lot of work. And so, anyway, when I got that one done, I realized all buggies weren't the same, and been trying to preserve horse-drawn transportation. Everything has changed so much in the last 100 or more years, especially the way we travel. And these young kids coming up really need to know and understand the history and appreciate what they have today, and how we can get in a car and go many miles when horse-drawn, maybe you went 15 or 20.
She never watches this show. I'm okay.
Yeah. Somebody she knows does.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay. And she'll say, "You'll never guess what Pharaoh said."
Yep.
He said, "You'll clean up anything."
Well, it always said the truth will set you free, right?
Yeah.
Truth
well,
wouldn't hurt you, right?
Yeah, it'll hurt you. Someday they'll be paid back,
Yeah.
especially with the attorney.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Boy, I know it all too well. All right.
You've been over so many years. You're screwed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh well. Been there, done that.
All right. Can I get your name?
Harlan Olson.
And are you from Utah?
I'm from Bozeman area.
Montana. So, what is it that brought you down here to Utah?
Well, I've known Eli a long time, and it just felt like I'm part of the Stagecoach Association. It was the wagon the wagon relationships that brought me down here with Eli.
So you went on the tour of the trails and everything, correct?
We did, yes.
It's amazing. They just had a visual aid to go by. Like what was just said. They said when you get to this certain mountain, go west, and that was all they knew.
That's all they knew, and that's what they did. And they charted the way for the rest of us. And part of that trail that they were on is where they built the Transcontinental Railroad. Amazingly.
We welcome back to the stage Sergeant Ryan White of Utah National Guard for a ceremonial wreath laying to honor and remember the thousands of railroad workers who helped build the Transcontinental Railroad, and to the many who lost their lives in doing this back-breaking work. Welcome to the stage Eli Anderson, founder of Wagonland Adventure in Tremont, Utah, and organizer of the 1996 Centennial Wagon Train.
The history around here is so incredible, and following these old trails and just seeing what our fathers had done and the experiences they had come across here. I mean, it's all just fascinating, and I've learned so much being down here, you know. That's part of the reason I come down. It's always a learning experience.
Oh, so you've been in the past to these?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, this is the 12th annual conference. I've been to a number of them.
Oh, wow, very good. All righty, well, hey, thank you so much. I appreciate talking with me.
You're welcome.
You go up to Promontory or anything?
No, I've been there so many times, and I didn't want to deal with the chaos. I guess you're up there.
There was a ton of people.
I haven't even been downtown Ogden because I knew what it was going to be like.
Yeah, I went down there Saturday. And
oh, did you?
Yeah, busy.
Thank you, City of Ogden. Thank you, Mayor Caldwell, and the 1,000 volunteers that are making today possible here in Ogden. Or should I call this Steamtown, USA? Amen. So let's get started. Let's get into what we're here for today. I want to introduce the celebrities of this morning. On my left, Union Pacific number 844, the living legend, brought to Union Pacific in 1944, topping out at a speed of 110 miles an hour. Oh, come on, we can do better than that for you. Far down the track on my right, the latest steam locomotive to join the Union Pacific family, the big boy, Union Pacific 4014, all 1.2 million pounds, 7,000 horsepower of steel and fire.
You know, this is pretty historic, and I think back on some of the folks I worked with, like Norm and that, who rode on those big boys, started on the railroad the first day they came into town. And the stories he told me, and some of them were true. And you know,
just about half, huh?
No, well, maybe not that many. But it was an interest in life, and those guys, you know, that's what made the war a success, was moving those munitions up those mountains, going up to Evanston, across America.
I think it was you that said it at at the conference. Was now if you don't have air conditioning, you're a little upset. Couldn't imagine what those people were going through to get across.
A lot of dust and.
So really appreciate what you've got.
That's right. That's right. I remember growing up, we didn't have air conditioning, and you rolled the windows down and went away. You know.
All right, can I get your name?
Greg, Horsepole.
And Greg, what is it you're doing out here? You're taking pictures, right?
I'm taking pictures. I've been helping with the sound. I've been the gopher for our wonderful event down here.
I seen you doing sound as we were going to certain places and doing certain things.
Yeah, we were doing sound out as we were going along the trail and making sure that we were able to, you know, get some of the people, you know, help you guys out so everybody could, you know, be heard.
Many of you are standing on the railroad trestle. There's a railroad grade right here. So this is a pivot point, and they had to stay away from the lake and come around to this point right here.
You got to hand it to those people that come across. They had no idea. I mean, they knew where they wanted to go, but they weren't really sure how to get there.
I mean, you know, if you think about it, today we have GPS. I mean, a compass is modern by their standard back then, if you really think about it. And so to take landmarks, existing landmarks like we have around here out the property that we're on today, and with point lookouts and, you know, the different draws, that's what they had to go by. And so to think about that's what they were doing back then, and they still were able to go from point A to B is amazing.
Right here we're looking at the 49ers wagon train. It's the California cutoff, the Hensley cutoff of the California Trail, and this goes to Pilot Springs. And out there in the middle of the desert, there's a spring that's got some fresh water that they needed to get through here. And so this is where they came through on their way up the mountainside to another spring. So these are actual tracks that have been there all these years, and they're not current traveled roadways.
It's amazing as many parts and pieces are to one of those steam trains that they run so well.
And the maintenance, and you know, they never shut them down. They would send guys into the firebox and pull out the clinkers while it was still hot.
Oh my gosh.
Just so it never got cold, because it takes so long to warm them up.
So I have a question. I have a question to ask you.
Okay.
How did you meet Greg Horsepole?
How did I meet who?
Greg Horsepole.
Greg Horsepole, man, you've set me up on this one.
So I'm supposed to ask, how did you meet Eli?
Back it up.
So, so I got to kind of, I have to be creative here how I phrase this. I work for a department that we're not going to go into the details on that. Suffice to say, I was called out for a problem for water running down a road that belonged to a city, an entity, or a person.
Last summer, I was trying to go down to Canal Bank Road, and it was a little wet, and there was this vehicle parked right in the middle of the road. And there was this guy walking up the hillside. And I'm going, why would he park in the way? I can't get past him. So I get out of my truck trying to figure out what in the heck he's doing.
And I'm watching the water ooze out from below this, and I'm thinking, wow, that's crazy. And this truck pulls up from behind my pickup. And this individual who's clearly having a bad day that day meanders my way asking me, and we won't go into details because I'm sure we'd have to bleep out some of the, no, I'm kidding. But he made it pretty clear that only an idiot would park a truck in the middle of a farm road.
I'm starting to say, what are you doing? He's like, sir, have I upset you? Have I upset you, sir? And I'm going, I need to get through here, you know? And so that's kind of how we met. It was a little rocky and rough for a minute. And then I think he got in the truck with me and helped me hook up to a trailer.
After we get talking on different things, leading up to that, because of my association with history in the background, you know, trying to put some of the local stuff together for what it is I do, and I heard Eli's name. Eli had heard my name for putting some of the stuff together, so it was just kind of one of those weird, the hand of God threw it in there for the two of us to meet that way.
He said, you're Eli Anderson? He said, somebody told me I needed to talk to you. And so he was doing some historic research on stuff around the area, and
oh, you're Eli. Oh, you're Greg. So yeah, it was kind of fun. Anyway, that's the Reader's Digest version. How's that?
That's how it happened.
Very good. Well, Eli, you're really busy. Hey, I appreciate everything you've done this week. I've actually learned a lot. It's amazing.
Stick around, you'll learn some more. Thank you.
I hear you have like a favorite railroad story that someone told you one time.
You know,
and Bill may or may not have a clip of the story.
well, do you have Grant? Norm Frost.
You're talking about it getting cold.
Yeah, you know, he was on a big boy, and he was up in the cab of the locomotive, and it was quite cold.
Alrighty, can I hear your name?
Rodney Carricker.
And what is it that you're doing down here today?
Well, Eli's a friend of mine, and we volunteered to cook for his gathering.
Wow, he must be a good friend. Just volunteer to come do it.
He's a good friend.
What are we doing? I have no idea what's happening.
My name is Matt Foley, and I am a motivational speaker. I live in a van down by the river.
Oh, you should live in a wagon by the river.
You know, Farrell, I wish you'd just shut your yapper. Talking to my friends here.
Sorry.
Well, when you're in the cab of the locomotive on a big boy, it's quite warm, so he had a big heavy jacket on, and he was perspiring, okay? Then they had a little time getting into Rock Springs. They were held out for a while, so he was trying to cool off, and he's hanging on the ladder outside, okay? And by the time they got in, he went to get off, and his coat had frozen onto the ladder, okay? And everybody was leaving, and he's yelling, "Hey guys, help! Get me off of this thing!"
Kind of like that scene in A Christmas Story where the kid gets his tongue stuck to the flagpole.
And everyone's going,
yeah.
No, we don't know where he is out there by the pole.
He is a pretty good guy. You know, I went out with the stagecoach and freight wagon people, and I might have learned something in spite of my, you know. Have you went out to any of those trails and seen those things?
No, we're from Colorado.
Oh, he has friends in Colorado even.
Yeah. He's from Arizona. I'm from Colorado, and we came up to help Eli with this.
Just to cook?
Yep.
Wow, you guys must be great cooks. You're from Colorado, and Eli called you up.
Well, we volunteered. That's why he took us. Wasn't because we were good cooks.
He takes what he can get, huh?
I think so.
All right, very good. Well, thank you so much for talking with me.
You bet. Thank you.
As I was saying, my name is Matt Foley, and I am a motivational speaker. I live in a van down by the river.
And how did you come to such a lowly state?
Well, let me tell you about it.
He told this story actually, so why don't we go ahead and take a look at that right now?
Tell you a little story that happened to me at the other end of the line. I ran between here and Green River, Wyoming on the Union Pacific on the biggest locomotives in the world. And of course this was back in the days of steam. When we got to Green River, the head brakeman's job was to take the train down into the yard, tie it down, and bring the locomotive back to the roundhouse. That was our last duty. And I got all bundled up as well as I could, got on the back step and started him back, and I didn't have to get off once. When we got back to the roundhouse, back to the pit, everybody bailed off. Come on, Norm, let's go. It was cold, 30 below zero. I couldn't move. I was froze to the ladder. My clothes were warm, a little warm and moist inside that cab. And when I got out on that cold steel and wrapped around it, I froze right to it. They had to tear my coat to get me off the ladder. Oh, things like that. We had a lot of fun back there. Good job. You had to be a little nuts to be a railroad man, but yeah.
Well, you didn't have to be, but it really helped.
30 below zero was common in the winter there in Wyoming. And anytime you get weather like that, steel gets hard. They had problems with the air. They started pouring alcohol down through the train line to see if they could keep it thawed out, you know, and it worked for a while, for a ways. The only thing it did, it made it smell nice on the caboose. Then suddenly we were old heads, just overnight.
And then we were retired.
All right, you guys' names?
My name is Max Anderson.
My name's Cohen Miller.
My name's Keelan Anderson.
And so I'm going to assume that you're related to Ian in one way or another.
Yeah, we are.
And what is that?
Wait, Aaron?
No, Eli.
Oh yeah. Well, he's my grandpa.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He's all of ours grandpas.
Oh, all your grandpas.
Yeah,
Holy smokes.
We're the grandkids.
So how's he as a grandpa? Is he fun?
Yeah,
he's great.
He's really fun, but
He's
I mean,
hilarious.
he's always saw us hard work, and we love him.
What is it in this pot here?
This is brisket, beef brisket. It's smoked. It's got barbecue sauce on it, and we've reheated it up. So
you didn't cook it all the way in the Dutch oven. Just it's the microwave of the frontier.
That's exactly right. You know, and it's we do a lot of Dutch oven cooking. It's a lot of fun, and I tell a lot of people all the time that whatever you can do at home in the home oven, you can do in a Dutch oven.
I know. You're probably sitting there thinking to yourself, you're gonna go out there and you're gonna grab the world by the tail and wrap it around and pull it down and put it in your pocket.
Yeah. That's a nice thought.
I'm here to tell you, Farrell, as you go out there,
how do you know my name?
You're probably not going to amount to jack squat. In fact, you'll probably be living on a diet of government cheese and living in a van down by the river.
This guy is committed. I love it. Like, you had to ask your parents if he's as nice to his parents as he was to you guys. No? You think he'd be tough to have as a dad?
Yes,
Really?
very, very tough. Lots of hard lifting labor, and he'd crack the whip.
That's good though. That's the best way to be, ain't it?
Yeah, it is.
Alrighty, guys. Well, hey, thanks so much for talking with me. I appreciate it.
Yep. You're welcome. Have a good day.
So, what's your favorite thing to make in Dutch oven?
Oh, it's got to be desserts. You know, I make a good cake. I make occasionally I'll make if I have a really good group that I like, I'll make a lemon meringue pie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know, Farrell.
Here we go.
I used to eat bear claws as a kid, 2 at a time. And they'd get lodged in this region right in here. Matter of fact, I got a Polish sausage lodged right here in my arches.
All right, can I get your name?
Lonnie Jensen.
And what are you doing down here today?
I'm demonstrating blacksmith work.
So how did you get into this type of thing?
I had a friend introduce it to me quite a few years ago.
So what is it that you like about it?
I can take ordinary, normal steel and change it into beautiful pieces of work.
Like knives and...
Knives, door handles, roses, whatever you guys can think of, we can produce.
So the question that begs to be asked is, did you make lemon
meringue pie today?
Did you make it today?
I did not.
Oh, well, there's where you stand with that.
Eli's a good guy, but
not that good.
It's got to be really special. Well, the crowd was a little bit big for lemon meringue pie. We're looking at 200 people tonight. Lemon meringue pie serves like 6 or 8 people. So
yeah, that's all you'd have time to make is lemon meringue pie.
Yeah, one pie. So.
Now there's another little thing I got to tell you.
I can't wait.
So maybe I'm not people friendly and I frighten children and I pick my scabs and eat them and I don't bathe regularly and I can't wipe properly.
That explains a lot of things, actually.
And that's why I'm living in a van down by the river.
I can't even look at him. So, how do you know, like when you're looking at something, how do you know to get it where it needs to go? Or is it just guess, you think I want this and hope it turns out right?
No, you got to have a pretty good idea of where you're starting out. And it's all done with a hammer and an anvil. You got to watch your hammer blows and focus on that. And
good Lord, that's why I would never be able to do anything like this.
Anybody can do it.
I could make a mess.
Hey, I make a mess. No, it doesn't matter. You can take the heat. Once you got a heat and you have an idea where you're at, it's all basic techniques, and you just use those techniques and you can move steel and change the shape and do whatever you want with it.
I have a couple Dutch ovens and I really like cooking in them, but I'm afraid to do too much because I'll burn it and then I'll be hungry.
That happens at times.
It would happen to me a lot. All right, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Glad to be here. Nice being in Utah.
Now, what do you want to do with your life?
I'm really not sure at this point. I mean to rethink some decisions after speaking with you.
Well, I've heard a couple people tell me that you want to be a writer. And from what I've heard, you haven't been using that paper for writing, but for rolling doobies. Well, let me tell you, Farrell, you're going to have plenty of time to do your doobie rolling when you're living in a van down by the river.
So, for heat, you just use coal and...
So this is coke. It has been processed coal. The bottom of my fire is up to 2,000 or about 3,000 degrees above. When I'm working the steel, I like it about 2,600 degrees.
Is it hard to regulate the heat to keep it where it needs to be, or is it?
No, you can regulate it very close. We have an air damper on it, like your wood burning stove, so I can control how much air I get and how much I use.
So I'm going to assume more air, the hotter it gets, right?
The more air, the hotter it gets. Yes.
All right.
What are you up to? My name is Beauregard Rippy.
He knew I was going to ask his name. What was your name again? Beauregard?
My name is Beauregard Rippy.
And where are you from?
Tupelo, Mississippi.
That's what I heard. So you were the gentleman that was giving us a bit of a hard time when we were on the tour with Eli.
That was an accident. My name is Tim T. Munns. Munns Flying M Ranches in northern. You want me to look at you or look at him?
Yeah, whoever you want to look at. He better looking at
I'd went over to check on the wagon train accident. I got cattle there along that road, and I seen all the people coming. What is going on here? I've been stopping the wagons, getting a treat from the people going, telling us the toll road, and here come Eli, and then here come the bus, and yeah. Welcome to the Curlew Valley, folks. Wind's blowing today. This is normal weather. Only time the wind stops here is when it changes directions, out of the north to the south. This here is a toll road too, and if you haven't got something to offer, then I've got jerky, and I've got cookies, and I got a bottle of water.
Go away.
And now I've got goldfish for my grandkids.
Yeah, you look more official with one of these old stagecoach rides.
Oh,
shot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Is it loaded? Of course. What good's an empty gun?
All right.
I have what doctors call a little bit of a weight problem.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Maybe if I eat bear claws 2 at a time, I get there eventually.
You ever ridden in a wagon?
No, I
you
haven't.
know, wagons go east sometimes.
Yeah? Are you telling me to leave? Is that what you're saying? I was sure you were going with this.
What do you got for me? Let's hear it.
Got for what?
I know you got a question.
So do you go other places and do this, or?
I go all over the state. Whenever they call me and don't want me to come, I hook on and I go. So I do it for a living, and we have fun. So yep.
So you got like a web page or anything like that?
I don't have a web.
No, they don't. You can't make one out of steel.
No. We are starting on Facebook, Jensen and Sons Iron Works, and Instagram. I think it's Instagram. One of those.
Yeah, there's so many.
There's so many of them. BR Forge. So you can find us there. We're starting to post a little bit. I got to get my kids to do that.
Yeah, right.
I play with this and
maybe you guys can teach each other. You can teach them blacksmith. They can teach you some computer.
My oldest boy, he's very well. He's my striker.
Oh, really?
So, and a striker is he swings a 12-pound sledgehammer and I hold the tooling.
Woo! You trust that kid, don't you?
We do. We do. So he helps forge all my hammers.
Oh, so you made your own hammers too?
Yes. Yeah, the 3 hammers that are out there, we forged ourselves.
Oh, wow.
So.
Very cool. Alrighty, well, hey, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
You bet.
Don't arrest me. Keep that pistol in your holster.
Official information.
Yeah, give us something. Official information about.
What would you like?
How long you been a sheriff?
Just about 2 or 3 days.
Gonna retire? Is it a career you like, or?
Yeah, I got the badge from the sheriff. I serve on the Merit Commission.
That's how you.
I'm the rancher. Yeah, I run cattle.
Oh, really?
Been on a ranch out there 42 years. Started with nothing. Still got most of it left.
Most of it left. How'd you get so? I can't even think of anything right now. I'm totally drawing a blank. He was killing me. So Ian's your dad, I'm assuming.
Eli's my father.
And what was he like growing up? Was he nice or was he mean?
He cracked the whip. Did he? He did.
But that's good, right? Because you grew up to be Chris Farley.
That's right. I got a funny side. I got a little bit of a silly streak in my blood.
That's good. That's real good. Alrighty, I talked to you guys Wednesday, I do believe, down at the parade, correct?
Last Saturday, yes.
Was it Saturday? That's right. It's been a long week for me.
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you went along on the tour of the old trails, right?
Yes, sir. We did.
And what was your favorite part of that experience?
That is a very, very tough question. We have seen so much, and everything has just been exhilarant for everything we've got to do. Eli has put on the most awesome event that we could ever ask for. We've got to see things, do things that would normally wouldn't be able to. We was able to go out to the train this morning. We got to see it, and it was really, really a fantastic week.
So how much work? I can't even beg to ask this. I shouldn't even have to ask this question. But how much work is it being a rancher, keeping track of all them cattle?
About 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
No vacation.
We take 2 hours off on Sunday morning and go to church.
You need to go to Hawaii or something for a week.
I ought to.
Have Eli watch the cattle and you go.
Now that'll be a disaster.
So these wagons, how many of them do you get shanghaied into working on with him?
You know, the other day I'll come back to me now. You can talk to me. I'm Coob.
Good.
Aaron, but everyone calls me Coob. That's my nickname.
Yeah.
We've probably worked on at least 40 together.
So a lot of
my childhood.
A lot of father-son bonding time.
A lot of father-sons bonding time. I've got 2 brothers, and all of us, we'd spend our weekends, we'd spend our evenings up here working in the shop.
Yeah, I'm almost ashamed to say it, but I've lived in this area for most of my life, and I haven't even seen half that stuff. So it was cool to go out there and see it.
Yeah, yes. And the old town, everything.
Yeah.
Primarily, we're not real big on historians, but this has been an exceptionally great trip.
Oh, I think so too.
Artie, can I get your name?
David Anderson.
And David, what is it that you come all the way here to Tremont for?
I just come to play my guitar and sing songs with the group Saddle Strings.
And how long have you been with Saddle Strings?
Let's see, about an hour and a half?
Is that what it is? Well, you picked it up real quick.
Actually, I'm good friends with the group, and,
Oh, yeah?
and Brian isn't here, so I decided I was able to fill in for it.
I left my dad's place when I was 22 years old, and I had 20 years experience when I left.
Well, that's why you're so successful, huh?
You know what people say, you're damn lucky. I say, yeah, I am, but it seemed like the harder I work, the luckier I got.
I think that's the way it works, isn't it?
Yeah.
All righty, very good. Well, hey, thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you.
You bet, thank you.
So a lot of getting yelled at because you wasn't doing something exactly right?
That's usually what it was, or I wasn't holding the board right when we were cutting it and it got a little off.
Crooked? No.
We had to, it was a learning curve, but we did okay. We did good.
That's good. All righty, man. Well, hey, thank you so much for talking to me. I appreciate
Thanks
it.
for your time. Appreciate you, Farrell.
That was funny. I was telling somebody else, in spite of my best efforts, I actually learned some things.
I only wish that in an event like this, with all the knowledge that was here, I could only comprehend and remember a portion of it. As you get older, your memory cells just don't attach well.
Yeah, well, I understand that. So, alrighty, guys. Well, but I forgot to ask you. And where are you from again? You told me.
Linden, Kansas.
Linden, Kansas. So you travel around quite a bit and do these sorts of things, do you not?
We do a lot of wagon train rides, yes.
So, how long have you been playing music in general then?
Basically all my life. Started with clarinet when I was in second grade.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what was it that drew you to want to play music?
My father and my mother. Music was always part of our home.
Oh, really? So you just kind of, did any of them play any instruments?
My dad played clarinet, trumpet, tenor sax, had his own dance band, big band era.
Yes, that's right. We're down here interviewing Bob Geyer. That's right, my friend and your friend and everybody else's friend as well. Bob, tell us, what do you think about today?
I am amazed.
Thank you, Bob. We appreciate that. Hey, we're going to you, Steve. We'll be right back.
As the wagon train went through last week after we watched the parade, on Sunday night we met up with them. We went out for Cowboy Church and saw a lot of the guys out there. That's our forte, is going on the wagon ride, except with the wagons. We have quite a few wagons at home ourselves. And so, being around these guys that are really knowledgeable is really a great, great event.
Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you so much for talking with me. I appreciate your time.
I thank you, and good luck to both of you young gentlemen.
Thank you.
My mom plays piano by ear, and so yeah, always music in the home.
I've always wanted to be able to play music, and I've dabbled a little bit with the guitar, but I just stink at it, you know.
It just takes practice.
Yeah. Well, here's my problem. I don't want to put in all the practice. I want to be able to play it right now, you know?
Well, that there's a lot of us that do that, but I can't make it work either, so
Yeah, wow.
practice.
Alrighty, well, hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate talking
Nice
with
to
me.
meet you. Thank you.
You know, Farrell, I forgot one thing that I have to tell you.
I can't wait.
Brothers don't shake hands.
They don't.
Brothers
No.
gotta hug.
Oh, that's a strong man, because I ain't no feather. Alrighty, guys. Well, hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you come down and check out the wagons. Make sure you check out the Stagecoach and Freight Wagons Association. They do it every year. You'll probably learn something.